9 HBCUs across the country received bomb threats. The schools included Howard University, North Carolina Central, Xavier, Spelman, Texas Southern University, Norfolk State, the University of Arkansas at Pine Bluff, Florida Memorial, and Prairie A&M. The threats led to evacuations and investigations by law enforcement officials. Presently, no credible threats were found, and students and faculty are safe. Florida Memorial tweeted in part yesterday, after a thorough search, no suspicious packages were found and no one was harmed. The campus returned to normal. Today, officials have not released any leads on the bomb threats, and we're certainly keeping our eyes on the story and will give you any updates. That should be a serious concern, Robert, because clearly to have 9 HBCUs, that means someone is specifically targeting historically black colleges and universities.
Exactly, and I think that was my first thought, many people's first thoughts, that if you look at the amount of notoriety that HBCUs have gotten in the popular culture and the mass media the last couple of years, with that additional attention comes additional bad actors. You know, you have Dion bringing spotlight to Jackson State. You have Howard University, of course, being preeminent in public attention. You have Clark Atlanta and the Atlanta University Center. Many of these white supremacist groups and bad actors had no idea they existed because it was outside of their purview. But now that they're in the spotlight, now that they see the threat that they pose to systemic racism and the traditional white power structure is going to bring these sorts of threats. And thank God they were fake this time. But we do have to work out and look at increasing security of these institutions to make sure that our next generation of black leaders are safe and secure on campus.
The thing we also must look at here, Scott, and I'm not connecting these two, we talk about January 6th, but what doesn't get talked about a lot were the pipe bombs that were found outside the Democratic National Committee, and they still have not found the person who actually placed those there.
Yeah, you know, that's a good point. What we need to watch now, and I agree with Robert, what we need to watch now is whether there'll be any additional bomb threats against any of the other HBCUs. Is there a pattern and practice? How were these threats received by the schools, whether it was in writing or communications or verbal communications, and kind of what the police are sifting through to try to trace those calls, whether it's a burner phone or not. You know, they've got to use some type of phone system, and those records can be reviewed. It's disturbing, but I think there's a relationship between these bomb threats and not only the high-profile nature of these institutions, but the fact that they're receiving millions of dollars from major white donors as a result of George Floyd. And with that will come this negative behavior by that far-right extremist domestic terrorism. But I think they ought to be on call or be on notice and take security measures beyond the fact that this was a fake call. They've got to be on notice and be on security alert for some time now. That's the new reality.
Obviously, Monique, this causes serious disruptions. You got students returning back to campus and returning to classes. And so hopefully this won't continue, but it should be of concern that it hit 9 HBCUs on one day.
Yes, but what I would hope would happen, because this would not just be domestic terror or a type of terror attack, if any of them were actually followed through, it would also be a hate crime. And so there are a number of federal agencies that, one, should be involved in surveillance, and perhaps already were. I don't know what intelligence the FBI or the CIA were receiving about this before it happened, but also can be involved in the protection of these universities. So where these trigger points have happened and where we now know about it, that should be enough for there to be enhanced protection and surveillance systems across the board.
Unfiltered video in just one moment.
Time to be smart.
Roland Martin's doing this every day.
Oh, no punches!
Thank you, Roland Martin, for always giving voice to the issues.
Look for Roland Martin in the whirlwind, to quote Marcus Garvey again.
The video looks phenomenal, so I'm really excited to see it on my big screen.
Support this man, Black Media. He makes sure that our stories are told.
See, this difference between Black Star Network and Black-owned media and something like CNN.
I got to defer to the brilliance of Dr. Carr and to the brilliance of the Black Star Network.
I am rolling with Roland all the way.
Honored to be on a show that you own. A black man owns the show.
Folks, Black Star Network is here.
I'm real revolutionary right now. Roland was amazing on there.
Stay black. I love y'all.
I can't commend you enough about this platform that you've created for us to be able to share who we are, what we're doing in the world, and the impact that we're having.
Let's be smart. Bring your eyeballs home.
You can't be Black-owned media and be scared.
You dig?